morning everyone. Welcome to the fourth session of the topic Robinson Crusoe Builds a House. Students, you all have to open your fragrance book. The main objectives of this topic are: today you all will be able to learn how to write an effective creative writing. Students, today I am going to discuss creative writing of Robinson Crusoe Builds a House. Today, you all will be able to put the following incidents in chronological order and frame the summary. Here students, chronological order means arranging the events in order of their occurrence. Now look at the heading. Imagine you are Robinson Crusoe and you are telling your friend how you reached the island and built your house. Now students, you all have to arrange the story in a correct sequence. Students, read the story and arrange the sentences in correct sequence. To solve this exercise, we will read the sentences first. I took the pieces of the cable and laid them one upon another. I found a little plain on the side of a rising hill. Before I set up my tent, I drew a half circle before the hollow place. I made a cave just behind my tent, which served me like a kitchen or cellar to my house. I made a large tent into it. I brought everything that would get spoilt by the rains. Now students, let's recapitulate how Robinson Crusoe had built his house. Robinson Crusoe built a house on a lonely island after being shipwrecked. He was roaming on the island where he found a plain land on the rising hillside. It was a rocky, steep land where not any creature could come up from the top. There was a hollow place on the side of that rock that looked like a door of a cave, but actually it was not. Then he decided to set up his tent on the flat of green. The land in front of his tent was like a green carpet. Its location was as such that Robinson could protect himself from the scorching heat of the sun. He drew a half circle, and in that half circle he placed 2 rows of strong stakes. Each stake stood out of the ground about 5 feet and a half and was sharpened at the top. Robinson Crusoe placed strong stakes like a spur to a post so that nobody could cross the strong fence. Then he brought all those things in the tent in order to save them from the rains. Robinson Crusoe built up the entrance of the fence, which remained open during the daytime. He passed in and out by a ladder, but at night he lifted the ladder and made himself safe. With all his efforts and labor, he cut a way into the rock and made a cave behind his tent, which served him like a cellar or a kitchen. He furnished all his house with a table and a chair that he made from the short pieces of board. Then he placed his tools, nails, and ironwork on the handmade shelves. He hung all his things on the rocky wall. Now students, according to this write well, you have reached the island. Now you are going to build your house. So let's start numbering these points in correct sequence. Now students, your line starts from here. I found a little plain on the side of a rising hill. Now you have decided to pitch your tent there. But before pitching your tent, what will you do? Now students, our next point is, before I set up my tent, I drew a half circle before the hollow place. Students, here you have drawn a circle. What will you do next? Obviously, you need something to build your house. So our next line is, I took the pieces of the cable and laid them one upon another. Now students, you have collected the pieces of cable and you have put them in order. Now what will be the next? Obviously, after pitching all the stakes like a spur to a post so that nobody could cross the strong fence. Now students, I made a large tent and into it I brought everything that would get spoiled by the rains. Now students, I brought all the things and arranged them in order. So what will be the next? Now students, you will make something because you are going to construct your house. So I made a cave just behind my tent which served me like a kitchen or cellar to my house. Now students, in this way I built my house. Now students, arrange these sentences into a paragraph. You can begin in the following manner. When I reached the island, I found a little plain on the side of a rising hill. I decided to pitch my tent there. But before I set up my tent, I drew a half circle before the hollow place. I took the pieces of the cable and laid them one upon another. I made a large tent and into it I brought everything that would get spoilt by the rains. I made a cave just behind my tent which served me like a kitchen or cellar to my house. Students, I hope you all have put the sentences in correct order, and now on the basis of the correct order of the sentences, you all have to join the sentences in a form of a paragraph. Students, I hope the topic is clear to all. Now you all have to read the chapter again and again for better understanding. Thank you everyone.